which is the companion guide to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Once Bitten, which was the companion guide to Angel, as well as other books. And so I'm going to be talking to Emma for probably about, 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm going to throw some questions out to you guys. So I hope that you guys are getting questions ready for her. And in the meantime, I will get things started.
Okay.
I'm going to sit down.
This is so weird. I've never been out like this. So bright.
We were already discussing, I was explaining to her that this is not going to be a quiet hall. This is where we're basically going to have to shout over the din, so thank goodness for the mics. I hope you guys can hear everything okay. So, let's go right back to the beginning, because she's jet lagged, so let's try that.
If I can just smile like that.
Can you do it? Can you do it? There we go. Haven't changed one bit.
Very tan there, and I'm really digging my hair color. It's actually the same.
I like the beat.
Whatever.
So, did you always want to be an actress, or at what point did you decide this is what you wanted to do?
I always want to be an actress. I don't know. I always like to kind of goof around. I was, always in the drama club. I always loved movies and loved television and loved trivia about those things and loved the arts in general. But I had plans to get my degree in psychology. I had a whole trajectory kind of laid out for myself, and performing seemed more like a hobby and a possible option once I did the serious work first. That didn't work out. I didn't finish college, and I ended up acting pretty much straight away, which I really, really regret not getting my degree. I hate that I didn't do that, but I know it's never too late when it gets too late. And there's no way I'm going back to school. Oh my God. I can't even imagine having to sit, study, do math again? What? I probably wouldn't have to do math. I don't know. Whatever they make me do. Yeah.
So one of the first big roles that you had was on 90210, the original 90210.
Kate!
Kate. Brandon's best girlfriend.
Thank you. I think so too.
Totally.
She was fun. She got the shaft.
So you were on that show for
They totally
2 seasons.
Totally messed her up.
I know they did.
Yeah.
I remember an extended, I loved that show. I remember an extended storyline, which for its time, and even though to me it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, in pop culture terms, it was a lifetime ago, but for its time, they did a really big storyline on pro-life, pro-choice, and that sort of thing. Did you get blowback or any sort of issues with that?
I have no idea what you're talking about. They did?
Yeah.
I have no recollection of that at all. None. Who was having an abortion?
I totally remember that.
Whose character was having an abortion?
No, I remember they had to do the whole thing with the newspaper and...
No.
Oh my gosh.
No. Was that Keats? Was she all about doing the story?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. All I remember from that was that really was my first real job. It was a substantial job. I don't think I could drink back then. I was just like a baby coming out into Hollywood, and I was getting to kiss Jason Priestley, and I thought that was pretty awesome. That's all I remember. He was a good kisser. That's all I remember. And apparently we did some super edgy material. Good for 90210.
Totally. A special episode.
Oh my God, it was a special episode? That's amazing. With the parental disclaimer. Yeah.
Be careful, your children are watching.
Your children are having sex and they might be having abortions. Watch this episode.
Yeah, and you'll learn all about them.
And you'll learn all about it in this very important forum. At 9 o'clock after commercials. Yeah. God.
So, on to...
That was so offensive what I just said. I was just making fun of how serious that was.
It
Yeah.
really was. I mean, they ran these disclaimers and everything across the bottom. Wow, totally how it was done.
Wow.
Let's go to Buffy
Uh-huh.
and Anya. That rabbit-fearing vengeance demon that we all love so much. There are academics now that teach Buffy in university. They have entire university courses on Buffy and Firefly and all of Joss Whedon's works and that sort of thing. When you were involved in Buffy during the run of the series, did you have any sense that it was going to outlast its network and broadcast at all like this?
No, not at all. I mean, it was just a little show on a startup network. We just, no, not at all. Not at all. There was no indication that it would continue to evolve and have a generational impact the way it's had. I think as an actor, you always hope that something you do will resonate, but no, there was nothing like that at all. So it's really nice. It's nice that the show still continues to affect people in a really positive way.
Well, and with Netflix and streaming services or Hulu, there are new audiences coming to it every day. In a way that never happened in previous generations of shows.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So, I have been to academic conferences where they are devoted entirely to Buffy, and I don't think there is a single scene in the entire 7 seasons that is more analyzed, discussed, or even cried about than the fruit punch scene in the body. And it's not just the writing of that scene, it's how you did it, how Anya conveys what she's feeling in that scene. And when you first saw the script for that, did you have a sense that this was going to be one of the most devastating scenes of the entire series?
Well, again, my memory of what I thought about anything is pretty shot. Like I don't remember this morning a lot of it. Like, oh, that's right, I was in the airport still. It's 12:30 in the morning, trying to get on a plane. You go into those things and you're really in it for the time that you're in it, and then you move on. And just like your memory, or at least an actor's memory, is it has to condense information and get it out quickly because there's always new material coming. It's not like you have months and months to go over anything. It's just a script every week and you do the best you can. It was always going to be a sad episode. I mean, we knew that. And then that scene, my vague recollection was just, that seems important. That's an important piece. I hope I get it right, And I spent most of that scene, honestly, just thinking about how badly I had to go to the bathroom, which I have said before. We were about to go into meal penalty. It was lunch, and that's very serious. When it's lunch, you go to lunch because it costs a lot of money to keep rolling the camera. And Joss wanted a very specific kind of tear to come out of my eye. And I was crying and everything was fine, but it wasn't the right amount of tears. And so we just kept doing that over and over again. And the more we did it, the more I was just aware that it's lunchtime, everyone's really hungry, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh my God, I just have to get through this scene because I want to go to lunch, and everyone's getting mad because they want to go to lunch, and oh my God, I'm costing everybody money, and and then the tear came out, and he was like, that's it, great. And that scene's analyzed and analyzed in colleges, apparently. It's like, yep, that was my deep work, my actor prep for that amazing scene, was just trying to get through it and go to the bathroom. Sorry, to pull the curtain behind.
All those university classes just ended.
Yeah, all those big acting classes.
They're just canceling them right
now. Just have a full bladder, and you too can get a lot of tears.
Now I know that there are some younger people in the audience who maybe are just getting in, maybe you haven't seen the whole series yet. So I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question without spoiling everything.
There's no spoilers.
Here's how I'm gonna do it.
Like, come on.
Were you upset with Xander's final line in the finale when he found out what happened?
I don't remember his final line.
When his reaction, I guess, to when he found out what had happened with Anya.
Well, I think, you know, I asked for my character to, when the show was ending, I asked for my character's completion to be a certain way. I didn't know that it would be that specific way. I mean, I knew that that's what was going to happen, but I didn't know how exactly it was going to happen. And I was a little bit thrown by seemingly, I don't know, it was a lack of regard for that particular moment, and I thought that was like, wow, okay. It seemed weird. And obviously it seemed weird to a lot of people because I get asked that question still, like, really? That's all it got? Like, doesn't that bother you? And I'm like, well, it bothers a lot of other people. So I don't know. I'm not the person to ask that question, you know, to the person behind that decision is the one who should answer that question, because I don't know why it was done that way. I don't, maybe because I asked.
I mean, they have a lot of stuff to cover in an hour, but still, it still rankles with fans.
It does for a lot of people, and I can see why. It's weird. It doesn't follow the through line for all the sort of the gravity that every character seemed to have for big decisions big choices that were made. You know, there was a lot of attention given to those choices over the years, and that particular choice, you know, for me, just was kind of like, so glad whatever. Okay, yeah, no, but it's fine. I never got it. I never understood why either.
Anya was known as the character that speaks her mind, is rarely filtered, and in many ways says the things that everyone else is thinking, just no one else actually says it. And a lot of the writers on the show and people who talk about the show have said that Jane Espenson was the one who wrote a lot of her dialogue, and that it was a very clipped way that Jane Espenson talked very quickly and has that way of talking as well. Then she went on to become the executive producer of Once Upon a Time, which then you went over to. So was it Jane Espenson that drew you over to that show?
I love Jane. God, she's so good. She's such a brilliant writer. And that is true. I mean, that's what I have heard. And I'm assuming at this point it's true. I don't think I ever asked Jane specifically if that was the case, but she wrote me very well. Whenever there were scripts written by Jane, I treasured them because I knew I'd be getting just the juiciest bits of dialogue. So I had a lot of fun with her. I guess I did a great Jane, from what I understand. And having worked with her so many times, I wouldn't have picked that out. So whatever part of that her personality Anya was, you know, I didn't see that at work on any of her shows, whether it was Husbands or Once Upon a Time and Buffy, which I've done all three. And yeah, Liz Tigler was also Once Upon a Time, as was Jane, and I liked the show, and so like, hey, come on and play this weird witch. I'm like, fantastic, great, and never disappointed. I mean, that's a ridiculous character as well, who I just adore. I understood that character very well, just troubling. I don't know why. I seem to identify with these very dark, funny, confused people. This is that therapy. Why do I? Do you? But they're fun. They're very impulsive, and I think we all have impulses that we're always checking. So maybe it's a fun escape for people to let them watch that part of themselves that just gets to come out safely. Yeah.
Now for shows like 90210 and Buffy and Once Upon a Time, you were coming into casts that were already established and ensembles that had worked together for a long time. Did you find it difficult? Did you find it really easy to move in? Were there different experiences on the different shows?
No, I don't think I found it difficult to come into those roles. It made it easier in a lot of ways because testing for shows is very, very, it's traumatic. I don't really know any actor who finds testing for shows an easy process, no matter how many times you do it. And I've tested for a lot of shows. Getting up and being in front of a network, which is, you know, a bunch of people sitting in front of you watching you and, you know, thank you, and you leave, and you get a call an hour later, half an hour later, maybe 3 hours later, and it's like, you got it, you didn't get it. And there's all that pressure on you to make or break the show. You know, the shows were already doing, you know, they'd already been picked up, so that pressure was off of me. In fact, I don't think I've ever, well, maybe except for Gigantic, which was Marti Noxon's show after Buffy. That's the only show I think I've started from the very, very beginning. But I didn't have to test for that either. I just was asked to do it. So I've never been put in that position. Yeah.
Now, moving away from the acting, you also wrote a graphic novel series for IDW.
Yes.
And I wondered if you want to talk a little bit about that and what that experience was like for you.
Well, we didn't set out to write a graphic novel. We set out to do a show. And I'm trying to remember how the whole process went, but at one point it was said to us from smart people, other smart people, like, why don't you do this first as put it into a novel form, a graphic novel, and have it as pre-existing content, and then sell the content and you retain ownership, blah, blah, blah. And my writing partner and I had zero jet lag, zero experience writing in that format. We had written other things. She's like, I don't know how to do this, but we picked it up pretty quickly, and actually it was really challenging and fun to have to write, you know, on one page with just a few words, you know, move the story forward that quickly in that short period of time. But we're actually in the process of animating it. So, very slow process animation. Most of the same team is back, and the illustrator Christian Misi is now. We just got samples of what he's doing. Is now a animator. Well, he does both, but so it's absolutely thrilling to see her come alive in a way that we initially saw her years ago. To see her moving and the feel of her, and the satire and the ridiculousness, the political edge, all of that to that is shockingly relevant right now. I mean, it's bizarre. The things we were writing about are like all kind of come true. It's very weird. And or far worse than they were when we were first writing it. So that's one of those fun things that continues just to kind of write itself because you're just pulling from life. But I love writing. Yeah, love it.
Would you do another graphic novel?
I don't know about another graphic novel. That would have to be. I don't have any ideas in my right now that I think would lend itself to that format. If someone came along and said, "Hey, would you do this?" and wanted to pay me a lot of money to do it, I'd be like, "All right." Let's be honest. You know, your kid's education costs a lot of money, so it's like, what's gonna pay for your ridiculous preschool fees? Because there are no preschools that you can send your kid to that are any good. Not, you guys don't have to worry about that. I don't think in Canada you guys have healthcare and great schools, and meanwhile we're like in the swamp. So it's it's, you know, your priorities become, you know, we're all as a family just very aware. My husband's an actor too, and okay, it's not just about us anymore. What works best for the family? What can we do that also makes us happy and fulfills us creatively, but also first and foremost takes care of this little being. So yeah, I write things like Controversy. Like, you can't read that until you're like, I don't know, 12, kidding. inappropriate for a 12-year-old. I don't know how old she could be. 16. Long time from now.
Does anyone in the audience have some questions? We could get this started.
I know you do.
Oh, come one over on the side. The mic is over there if anyone has any
You have
questions.
a question speaking to this.
I know you guys have questions. Brave people.
Someone's in.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you very much for being here. Welcome to Canada. I'm sure this is the first time. But I actually want to ask about Lee Timer.
I love it too. Thank you. I would go up against Leslie Bibb for a lot of things. And she and I look a lot alike as well. I have been mistaken for her consistently by my barista, by the valet driver, by my friends. I was like, oh, I thought you were Leslie. I'm like, nope, it's just me. That, from what I understand, was going to be Leslie's part. And then I got it. So that was nice. I'm like, what? I beat Leslie? That's amazing. That never happens. So yeah, that I loved that script and I wanted it desperately. So when it finally did go my way, I was so thrilled. It's a wonder. It's just a great movie, and Jack Schaefer, who wrote and directed it, she's just a badass. She's just fierce, and I didn't even realize how lovely it was to have a woman in charge of everything. That's the first time I lied, it's not the first time. I guess it would be the second time because of Marti Noxon, because of Gigantic. So that was her show. At least on a film like that was the first time I'd had anybody, from beginning to end, have it be their project and have it be a female. And that's not a make or break or something for me to do. It was such a shock, and it added to the experience, which was already amazing because I loved that movie and I loved the cast. We just clicked instantly. But then to have it shepherded by this awesome woman, I was like, this is so great. I wish there was more of this, and we're still having that conversation. And I fear we will be for a little while longer. But yeah, I'm happy you like that. You're smart. Did you like the end? Okay. Can you get a little closer to the... Sorry, guys.
No, I did for the end because it stayed with me so long.
Yeah.
And I wrestled with it. But,
Yeah.
I think what I liked about it was the end that came out necessarily that I believe that was true for the movie, and so actually did make sense.
Yeah.
But it was still a beautiful way to explore relationships.
Oh, the soundtrack, especially. Did you say the score? Did you say that, or did I hear that? Oh, you didn't say that. Okay. Well, and the score.
To explore.
Oh, explore.
Relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I never considered before. But it certainly makes you think about your life and then all movies and try to.
Oh, I'm glad you liked that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you-
the movie.
Thank you. Oh, thanks. Thanks. Hi. Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. Bonjour. What? Oh. What's up? I do. Most everybody, I guess, in one way or another, yeah. yeah, we're all over the place. A lot of us don't actually live even in the same like location, but yeah, we do. It's you know, it's a good group. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah.
In the episode of Buffy when we like forgot who you were, was it like fun making that?
I forgot where I was. Oh, you mean where I was when I was dating Giles?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was hilarious. I actually do remember that, and that was one of the most fun episodes. I love Tony so much. He's just one of the greatest people, and we laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, and he's just the best. And so when we had to kiss each other, it was so weird. It was just so weird. That was really fun, and we got to work with the bunnies all day, and that was super fun. I love bunnies, and I love all animals, so that was a really, really good day. Any day where I got to work with animals was a really good day. Yeah. You're welcome. Hi, can you get up close to the... Yeah.
I know this is years ago, but when Anya was created, she wasn't originally a main cast member, right? She was a one episode character that they kept her on. Because with characters and actors, and obviously no one ever see Anya other than you as Anya, were you involved in fleshing out the character when she became a main part of the cast? And were you involved in who she became and her backstory, or even her quirks and personalities? Did you make Anya Anya?
Well, that's a tricky question because, I mean, the writers are the writers and they're brilliant. All of them are just the best. But since there wasn't any real backstory for her, I mean, from what I understand, that kind of went, they went along as it kind of went along a little bit. Whatever I brought to her, however I decided to have her speak, or whatever mannerisms I was giving her, I mean, like anything, you know, they just kind of start working with each other. They can write knowing how I'll probably deliver a line, so you can literally hear it on the page.
You weren't part of the process.
I did not sit in on any process, no. I just would get the material and do her. I don't know. I mean, you know, when I did the first episode and it wasn't straight away. I think it was a couple of months at least or something before I came back. You know, I had to then kind of go back and go, what did I do? Like, how did I get into that voice? And since there was more to work with, it was, you know, it was easier and easier to kind of get in this cool groove with her once I was given more to do. Like, you know, her obsession with sex or money, and like, you know, none of that was given. That was not aware of that when I first showed up. She was just a vengeance demon. That was all that was. I think I always knew that I wanted her to really like what she was doing, like, which I guess is true for like the Blind Witch as well. Like there's some pride in being really good at that, you know, and the rest just kind of comes. But
I wanted to ask about the Blind Witch as well, just because most of the time is they started.
yeah,
Are you involved?
residuals. I'm kidding.
Are you involved? Have you been called for the extension?
There is just, you know what's so nice? You guys have rain out right now, and I am loving it. You know, I'm always very happy when they're like, come back. So.
Is it fun? Does it feel like there's something that you go back and go, this is fun. I was hoping to do that.
Oh my God, when the first time I did it, I was obsessed with her and like, this is amazing. The costume, the everything, I just loved it. And I love Vancouver hard. I love Canada. I do. You guys are just awesome. Canada, you really should give yourself an applause. You should. Canada's awesome. And I just absolutely love Vancouver so much. So any excuse to go up there, I'm like, does it shoot in Vancouver? Oh, great. And so there were a lot of factors going in. I was like, this is too good of a job. Like, this is not even work. It's insulting to call it work, because it's just not. And you just like go and you just have fun. And like, you'll be back. And I go, okay. And then I didn't. And then someone was like, hey, knock knock. I'm like, oh, it's about time. What took you so long? I'm like, oh, yes, I'm coming back. And then, it just flows, man. I don't know. She's a weird character. Again, with Jane or other people who now have been involved with the show, I've been very blessed that when I do these weird people, these weird characters, that they kind of get that little piece of my personality, whatever it is, that can tap into those people and just get more strange. I don't know what it is. I'm very weird, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So any character.
They're perfect fits.
I'm very blessed when it does. So yeah, you're very welcome.
Hi, Emma. Hi there.
Hi.
Sorry, I didn't even know your ears out there.
You didn't.
I love Darkness Falls. That movie hit me at the right time and scared the hell out of me. I was living alone.
It's so bad.
Look, that movie 15 minutes is great, and then it's not the end, right? So I guess we're not going to see a sequel.
Dude, I wish there was a sequel.
Yeah.
I'm always very confused how a movie made that much money and we got no sequel.
Yeah.
That's very strange. Horror movies, kind of one of those built-in, like, well, if it does well, we'll likely have a sequel, because they all do. So I don't know what happened
Well,
with that. Darkness Falls even harder.
Darkness Falls.
Yeah.
Can you share any anecdotes from behind the scenes, or maybe share a little bit of your reminiscences from working on that?
Well, I'll tell you, we shot a very, very different movie from what ended up being the movie. Very, very different movie. That movie had another director brought in for reshoots. I don't remember how much quite a bit was just redone. Re-edited. It was like a 2-hour movie, and it ended up being like an hour and 25 minutes or something. There was that big monster came in really early. It just wasn't supposed to be like that at all. And I remember when I saw the film for the first time at the studio, they did a screening for director, cast, agents, whatever. And it was over, or not even it was over. When it started, I looked at my friend, I'm like, I don't even know, what is this? What is this? Like, I didn't shoot, where's the movie I shot? It's very, yeah, it was different. But,
It has a bit of a change of film because the first half was like...
what? Sorry.
It does change films because the first half is so atmospheric and it really gets under your skin, and then it becomes kind of a bit of a slasher after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, if I had known that, I wouldn't have worn that awful wig. I would have at least tried to make myself look horror hot. I was all mousy brown and like dowdy. It would have been nice to just like go with the genre. I just would have like sexed it up. Sequel!
I hope we see that now, yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Earlier you mentioned
Speak into the mic, sir.
Is that better? Earlier you mentioned you love animals. What is your favorite animal?
I don't think I have a favorite. I just love animals. I don't know. I don't have a favorite. They're all very cute. Even the ugly ones are really cute.
Even bunnies?
Even bunnies. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any advice for young aspiring actors?
Gosh. You know, you have to love it. I mean, really, it's got to be the thing that you just want to do more than anything. And you really can't imagine seeing yourself doing anything else. Or at least at some point that has to factor into your equation, because it's really hard. It's a very, so much of it is literally just based on being told no over and over again. No, that's not what we want. You're not what we want. It's not, So you have to kind of, you really do need a thick skin, because it is really very difficult to not take things personally. Because sometimes it really is personal. It's not like who you are as a human being, but it is personal. And with everything that's been going on lately with Harvey Weinstein and everything that's been coming out, the business hopefully will start changing for the better in terms of what women have had to put up with, and we all have. I mean, stories, people like Harvey are everywhere. So it's to really just be strong in yourself and know that you're not going to take any crap. That is really, really important. And to be willing to put yourself out there and be creative all on your own there's so many ways to do that. And to celebrate your creativity no matter what. But if that's what you want to do, then absolutely go for it, because it is fun. When it's fun, it's fun. Is that helpful? I just told you about being aware of real monsters because they're out there. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi. Answer is on Google for characters. Sorry, is that over?
Yeah.
Something on Google for my career, so I'm asking. You mentioned that you didn't want Anya to continue on after the series, and I hadn't heard that before, so I was just wondering what the reasons were to not have that related, I guess.
Well, from what I remember, the show, it was either going to go one more or it wasn't. At that point, it had been 7 years. That's a pretty good time. That's a good run. And to kind of just go out on a high. And it had been a while, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I was definitely ready to just have that chapter be done. I didn't really feel like I had much more to do, much more to explore there. So I thought that it was time. And I thought for going out, to have it be a final out, would fit in terms of just the story. I thought that would be a very cool way, just in terms of her whole arc. But again, I didn't see it going exactly like that, but the poignancy of having her come to an end in that way for her, I thought was important. You're welcome.
Hi, I have 2 questions. First of all, my daughter wants to know, in the episode of The Body, where Buffy's mom passes away, was it a strange feeling on the set to have a whole episode where it focused on somebody dying of a natural death, when in every other episode people died all the time, but it was always from other reasons? Was that a particular hard episode for you guys to do?
Oh God, I wish I could give you information. It was a while ago, so I don't really remember. I just remember that people were sad because Christine's cool, and it's like, oh man, we don't want to have you go, it's part of the family. That's sad. And yeah, Yeah, well, I mean, I would imagine, sure, you know, having to deal with death finally, like on an emotional level versus this sort of death as metaphor all the time. I mean, that whole show was a metaphor, so, you know, even the deaths are metaphorical. So, if that makes any sense, you know, to have a real person, flesh and blood, normal person die, and have everyone kind of scrambling and trying to figure out how to process that with all their powers or lack of powers or whatever. You know, I mean, I think it affects everyone differently at different times too. If you lost someone important to you during that time, or if you hadn't, versus looking back on it and thinking about people you've lost now. You know, I think it did its job effectively. I think we all were invested in making sure that that was told well.
Okay, and I don't know if anybody else does, but the musical, in my house, is that we still play the musical. You get in my car, it's on. And everyone, right from my children to my grandchildren, are all birds. And so,
Yeah, it's more than I do. I don't remember it.
and you have one, that must have been fun.
It was so fun. Oh my goodness, come on. I mean,
Is there any other shows that you've done that you've had to
sing? No. No, and I think everyone's the better for it, to be honest. I'm not a singer. I mean, I can sing, I guess. You know, with help, I can do okay. But like, I have friends who are singers, like Broadway singers. It's like, oh God, you know, you're actually like legitimately amazing at this, and I can show up to the party and not be tone deaf, but yeah.
Hello. I read online that you're going to be appearing in a storyline on Fear the Walking Dead. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Sorry. Like what?
Fear the Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sequel show. I read online that you're going to be appearing.
Well, I have once already, but you had to have been paying very, very close attention to when that character first showed. And other than that, I can't say anything. But there's a little tiny glimpse of her, and it happens, so you'll have to go back and find it. Big.
As a father of two teenage daughters, thank you for playing such an interesting and strong female character.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Come closer to the mic, sorry.
First, I want to say that you're happy. While you were filming, what was your favorite episode that you've done?
I mean, probably the musical. That was probably my favorite. I think that's probably true for most everybody. I mean, it was such a fun exercise. It was something so different. It pushed us out of our comfort zones. I mean, I have more memories of that, I think, than just about any of the other episodes, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It was good. It was fun.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
A random question. Making some waffles.
Waffles. Thank you. Yeah.
Gotta love those random questions.
This is good. I had thought about it. Not that I don't love a good pancake, but yeah, like some waffles.
Oh, Team Pancake's really upset right now.
That's it? No more questions?
Any other questions? I have one last question. How has social media changed being an actor when you're actually right there talking to fans all the time, where they can actually address you?
Well, In terms of the engagement aspect is really cool. It's very beneficial for getting things that you care about, you know, bringing awareness to things that you care about, for sure. The downside is, you know, if you don't have someone monitoring your feeds, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, if it's just you, which it is me, most of the time, it's just me saying whatever I feel like saying. That can be tricky. Because everybody, it seems, there's just, I don't know what's happened, because I remember when it used to be fun, and it's not really fun anymore. Everything is taken so quickly and retweeted, and, you know, if there's 142 characters on Twitter, I can't remember, 140. It's not the best format to get a point across. You know, it's not, I mean, none of it really is. There really should just, they're little sound bites. You know, but to try to be quippish or lighthearted or just passionate for a second and speak without editing can just, you know, people can run with it and take it to such an extreme and really just go after people online, and it's brutal, and I think really cruel and unnecessary. I mean, there's bullying. Cyberbullying is, we all know what cyberbullying is, and it's pervasive and it's hideous. But to the extent where, too, you can really bully a creative person online for not having a character do something they wanted you to do, or, you know, not taking, you know, feeling like they have so much ownership over what you do that you're scared to do anything. So in that sense, I think it's horrible. I think it's killed a lot of the joy of creating. But it's here to stay. That's, you know, I can think it's unfortunate all I want, but it's a necessary part of the media now. That's just the way it is.
I think there's one question from a mischievous-looking person standing there.
Anya is scared of bunnies. Are you scared of anything in real life?
Oh yeah. I'm very scared of sharks. I think they're really cool, and I'm fascinated by them. And whenever there's anything like on Shark Week, super into it. But they terrify me. They really have like a fear of being in an ocean with them. That's why I really hardly ever go in the ocean for that very reason. I'm super phobic. Yeah, that's the easiest answer. I can get all like, I'm scared of where the world is at right now, but that's not what you. That's not what you want to hear. Sharks.
Sharks is the easy answer. We'll be up here for another 2 hours talking.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Any other questions? We all good? Well, thank you so much for coming, Emma. It was so great.